Hey guys, it's Jessica, and today we're gonna do a good old-fashioned trying some drugstore makeup. I purchased some of these. A lot of it was from kind of residual PR that still came in after I'd asked to be removed from the list, you know what I mean? So it's kind of a mix this time, but we've got some brand new e.l.f. products. We've got some Colourpop, Revlon, Covergirl, and then a new brand. Well, I don't know how new it is. I found it at Target. It's a brow brand called Tonya Crooks. I know that Tonya Crooks has had a brow line before because I remember getting it in a subscription box years ago, and I think I didn't like the product, but it was like a brow gel or something. But anyway, I think the brand is called Arches and Halos, and so this is the brow building pomade we're gonna try today. It was at Target for maybe 10 or 12 bucks, so I'm so curious to see how it works. And I feel like I haven't really heard anyone talk about it, so I'm even more curious. I'm in like a funk today, not like a bad mood, but just a weird mood. I can't explain it. And I don't really know why, like it's been a normal day, but you ever just wake up and you're just in a like, mood. So I figured I actually wasn't gonna film today, but I was like, you know what? I think filming will put me in a good mood. So here we are. So the first thing I finally got my hands on is this e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I've had so many of you guys asking me about it. There are plenty of reviews of this online asking if it's a dupe for the Tatcha, what is it called? Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer. Let's see, because this bad boy is like 40 or 50 bucks, maybe even more. It's crazy expensive, but I do enjoy it. You use the tiniest amount, like literally at the size of a piece of rice, you know what I mean? So I'm actually only gonna use this on my nose and the surrounding area because there's a different e.l.f. primer I want to try for kind of the outer part of my face. So I've already put a serum on, put SPF on, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just gonna get like a little bit on the back of my nail and kind of feels like a similar, very similar texture. Feels nice. Feels like it's kind of smoothing the area. I just feel like anywhere I've got larger pores like right around my nose, this is nice to use. It definitely feels filled in. It's a very similar feel that I get with the Tatcha one, but I can't really tell a difference. You know what I mean? I think maybe the Tatcha one's a little bit more emollient, a little bit easier to spread, but the e.l.f. one wasn't hard to spread. So I'm excited to give this a little bit more try and to see how foundation sits on top of that area. The reason I've liked the Tatcha Silk Canvas over the years, especially in that middle area of my face, I do feel like it makes a difference in how long foundation stays, and honestly, I've kind of forgotten about it, so I'm excited to have it back out, but I think I'll just use the e.l.f. one for a while and just see how it works for me. So the other e.l.f. primer I wanted to try, I have some of the Jelly Pop collection that was sent over. This is their Dew Primer, so I'm excited to give this a try. I like the squeezy tube. Okay, I have to say this, as I looked at a lot of this collection, it reminds me, do you remember, if you were around my age, I'm not sure how long it was around, that like candy you could buy that was literally like goo that you would squeeze into your mouth, and it was really, honestly, it was really gross, but I feel like it was very watermelon flavored. But my brother and I would get it every once in a while when we'd get like walk to the drugstore down the street. I sound like I'm from the 50s. That's what this whole collection reminds me of, so it's making me feel weird. I can't explain it. So we're gonna try this Dew Primer, but I wanna find out what it says about this. So it's got a lot of good ingredients in it. Watermelon extract, niacinamide, vitamin A, C, and E, hyaluronic acid. Those are great ingredients. And it says it's got a unique gel texture that works like glue to grip makeup to ensure it stays put. So this is $8. It is sold at Ulta, as is the Poreless Putty Primer. And that Putty Primer is like always sold out. So it's like finally back in stock. Whoa, it definitely has that strong oh, it's like, feels like glue. You know the clear Elmer glue? That's exactly what it feels like. I literally feel like I'm wiping clear glue on my face. I have to admit, like my first thought as I read the description of this was that it was gonna be similar to the Milk Hydro Grip Primer, which I really liked, but it broke me out, but it really worked. That was one of those products that either people loved it or hated it. I finally got rid of it because it was breaking me out. This was stickier upon application, but it doesn't feel, it's still sticky on my skin, but it's not nearly as sticky as the Milk one is once it's on the skin. It's really weird. The smell is strong. I don't love that, but it's not for me a complete deal breaker. But if you're hypersensitive to scents, this will be too strong for you. So keep that in mind, especially if you don't like the watermelon scent. I feel like this is the perfect mixture of the Milk Hydro Grip Primer and the Cover FX Dewy Skin Primer, which is like a kind of clear gloppy gel. This is unique. I have to give it to them. I'm excited to give this more of a try, especially if you have really dry skin. I feel like it's really made my skin look nice. So the foundation we're gonna play with today is one I bought a few weeks ago. It's the Covergirl and Olay Advanced Radiance Age Defying Makeup and Sunscreen. I got Classic Ivory. Now listen, I have self tanner on. So obviously we're not gonna be matching today, no matter how well it would have maybe matched my normal skin tone. I guess I won't know for another week when this wears off. But just as an FYI, it's not gonna match. We'll use some bronzer and see how well we can get things to match. But I'm curious about the way this actually looks. I used to love this product from Covergirl and Olay that was like in a pot, and it was like a concealer, and it had like Olay mixed in with the concealer, and it was lovely, but they of course discontinued it. But I feel like I haven't really tried much from the Covergirl and Olay line in years. So the SPF is only 10, so you definitely want other SPF on as usual. Like the pump, it's just a plastic bottle. It feels a little thicker than I would have guessed. Gosh, this would be a good shade match for me, like on a normal day, I think. Let's do half of the face with the sponge and just see where we go from there. Curious how this will wear over these primers too. So just looking at my cheek, done. There's no foundation. It definitely, I would say, probably has like medium coverage just upon first application, at least with the sponge. It's probably a little fuller with the brush. It's blending in really nicely though. It's sitting pretty nicely on the nose on top of the Poreless Putty Primer. It's not perfect though. Like I feel like, being honest, I feel like the Tatcha one, it looks a little more flawless over it. But again, I haven't tried the e.l.f. one with other foundations that I know I love. It could be a mixture of that with this foundation. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna keep going with the sponge because I like how it's applying. I feel like some foundations, like super thin ones, aren't as easy to apply with the sponge because the sponge soaks up too much. But because this one was a little bit thicker, it's really applying nicely with the sponge. So if you can get over the Uncle Fester look right now, I do feel like this is a really nice finish. I'm gonna be really curious. I will check in at the end of the day so we can see how all of this wore. I'm curious to see how it wears because this is exactly my favorite kind of a finish where it's, you can still see my skin through it, no doubt, but you can see a nice glow, which could be that dew primer underneath. Like it's all meshing really nicely together. So let's try this brow product. I'm like weirdly nervous. So bought it in store, which means I'm sure it's sold online as well. I got it in neutral brown. Obviously my brows are much lighter than my natural hair color, so I always go darker. But I'm thinking, man, if I can save 10 bucks and not have to buy the Anastasia brow pomade, that'd be pretty sweet. I have tried like the L'Oreal brow pomade. That one's pretty good. But you can get plenty of good ones at the drugstore. But I'm more curious about this shade match for me. Like if it's a really good, more cooler tone brown, but not too cool, but not too warm. Like it's gotta be neutral, which I'm hoping this truly is. So just kind of swatching it, it looks pretty neutral. It feels very similar to the Anastasia. Like I literally just cracked open a new Anastasia one and it feels exactly like this. Just gonna kind of comb through. I usually wipe off a little bit before I go in so it's not super strong right off the bat. This is applying really fast and really easily. Like it's all blending pretty quickly together, but it's still staying in place. So like you have time to comb through it. It's not gonna dry. But I mean, that's like sticking to all the right places. I've mentioned in recent videos that I'm kind of growing my brows out, if you will. And so that's why if they look a little untamed, it's because they are. Just because I'm trying to let them breathe for a bit and really see like, okay, what is my natural brow shape? And I've been using this No7 lash serum that I like had for a while. I'm sure it was sent in PR long ago. And I think it's working. Like I've got a lot more hair than I had below, but I'm also a skeptic and I'm like, but is it really though? You know, but I mean, so far so good. And again, you can still see my hair through it, so it looks a little bit more natural in that way. I'm digging. I wasn't sure how I would feel about this, but this was very nice. And I feel like it's like, it really is neutral. I don't feel like it's too cool or too warm. I mean, it's definitely not warm. I think it's a pretty decent shade match. We're just gonna keep going. I'm gonna put one of these e.l.f. Jelly Pop glosses on. I'm gonna wipe it off to try something else at the end, but I kind of need something on my lips and I'm just curious, so I figure we can just kind of have it on while I'm working on other stuff. So they have 4 of these glosses in the line. It's just called their Juicy Gloss. There's Cherry Pop. The purple one is called Grape Pop. Ooh, it's making me like want Grape Pop. Apricot Pop and Watermelon Pop. Well, let me just see, like, is this purple one really purple? I'm sure it's not. Yeah, it's just kind of like the tint of purple, but it goes to basically clear. We'll try the purple one just because why not? That would be the one I would typically not try. I think they all have the same smell. It's kind of watermelon-y. It's definitely a very fake smelling, so I'm not a huge fan, but as far as I can tell, they all smell the same. But again, they all kind of go down to the mostly sheer look. I feel like you can tell though with the purple, there was a little hint of that kind of purple, but comfort level wise, it's not as gloopy. I will say I'm not a huge fan of the Colourpop So Jutesy glosses to channel my inner Kathleen Lights, my baby sister. She's not really, but I get that a lot. So much so that I was at an event, I think I've told this story before, but I was at an event and someone came up to me and was like, Kathleen, and I'm like, what? She's like, I know you. I'm like, what? Because I didn't, anyway, long story short, she left thinking I was Kathleen Lights. And it was one of those weird, it was really loud and like I couldn't communicate that I'm not who she thinks I am. But comfort level wise, it's so much more comfortable than those Colourpop ones. Like I feel like it's a little bit thinner. It almost feels like a lip balm if you put a little bit on. So now, the man of the hour. The e.l.f. Jelly Pop Flush Blushes. I've had so many of you guys ask me to try them because you guys know I love, like many of us right now, love like cream and liquid type blushes. So they also sell this little brush and I saw someone using this on Instagram and I was like, interesting, because it's got like these little fibers that extend just a little bit past the normal brush to kind of give it more of a diffused look, and I thought that's pretty cool. I love that it just looks like a little, I just think it's cute, okay? I just think it's cute. So the two shades, one's pinker and one is peachier, more peach. But there's like no name on him. I am wearing like just white today, so I could kind of go any way. We can go in any direction, Charlie. I think I'm gonna go with the peach one just because it's a little more summery. I mean, does it really matter? But the texture reminds me of like the Butter London. They had like these glazing blushes that looked like this. There's a lot of products that are out there that are this similar texture. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of the texture, but I figure what I'm gonna do, I'm like genuinely nervous because I'm gonna screw this up. I know I am. Let's try it without the brush first. Let's try it with the sponge to start with. I'm literally going to take a little bit of this and tap it in the areas I kind of want it, and then use the sponge to blend it. Kind of performs like those Butter London ones, where it can really get stuck if you wait even more than like 5 seconds. It starts to stick to the exact place you stuck it in. So make sure you're not putting this over powder. This will not be conducive for that. It will be a nightmare. That actually does look nice though. Ooh! That looks really nice, right? All right, let's try it with the brush. I'm literally getting this from the lid, but I'm gonna kind of stipple it onto my hand a little bit first, and then just kind of stipple it. Ooh, that's too much. Wipe some off. Stipple it on. So maybe don't use the brush to apply it. Okay, we're going in with the sponge because time is of the essence. I just feel like these products, I just like applying products like this with the sponge because it gives you a little bit more moisture to work with to kind of help blend it a little bit better, you know what I mean? And if you really want to get crazy, you can use the foundation-y side to help make things a little bit more seamless. Okay, I know that in my lighting it doesn't look like much, but doesn't it look really pretty in that way? Like it's like that nice hint. Let's get a little bit more. See, I feel like you can apply it with the sponge and then flip it to the foundation side and help blend it a little bit better. I feel like this is one of those blushes that you could apply and not even need a highlighter. You know what I mean? But it can definitely look patchy fast. So even going over it a second time, there's a little bit of patchiness. I don't know if it's coming through right there in the center. That's not great. Let's try a little bit with the finger. Finger's okay. I will say the pros of this right off the bat, I bet it's gonna stay in place decently well because it does truly dry down, which all cream blushes that I've used, cream and liquid, they dry down at a certain point. They don't stay like wet all day, but some of them are just a little dewier than others, so I don't feel like they truly stay on like 12 hours. Even my favorite Flower Beauty blush, it stays on pretty well, but it's not exactly perfect at the end of a 14, 15 hour day. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like something like this actually could stay in place pretty well because it dries down so fast and like furious. But the brush, I like it. I have a feeling I'm gonna like this more with different cream blushes. So I'm excited to give this a try with some of my other favorites because I could see where it'd be great at blending things, but with this liquidy of a product, I have to be really careful. Maybe I should say that. So we're gonna do a really simple look for the eyes today because I really just wanna try these eye glosses. So they're called their Face and Eye Gloss, and there are 2 shades. Again, the shades are not on the bottle, but there's one that's a little bit more like silvery white and one that's got a little bit of like a pinkish twist to it. So these are gloopier, like a lot stickier and just thicker. So I'm gonna tap a little bit off, and then I'm gonna use this as like a highlight. It's kind of like a similar feel to Aquaphor. So if you have seen me try that trick that Zendaya was teaching about, it has a very similar texture to that. It's pretty though. That's really pretty. Get a little bit more. You really don't need a lot. Like I'm literally almost wiping all of it off and just getting a little bit on my finger. I didn't put concealer on, did I? Who do I think that I am? This is the, I can link it below, the Covergirl True Blend Undercover. I love this concealer. So back to that like highlighty stuff. It's definitely there. So it's gonna be noticeable, and it's definitely like that wet, dewy look. I personally really, really like that look versus like a traditional kind of powder highlight. But just keep in mind, it's definitely gonna give that wet gloss type look. So I'm gonna try maybe the silvery one on my eyes just for fun because it says it's an eye gloss. I've not had great experience with eyeglasses in the past because I feel like they just end up creasing in my eyes. So I'm just gonna tap a little bit on the lid. I don't foresee this drying down, so I think that's my problem with it. So just think for the cost, assuming it's a little under $10, because I don't know off the top of my head, will you use it enough even for that? Maybe. Depends on what you like. I think it's pretty, but again, it's barely there. We'll just keep an eye on this bad boy and see how badly it creases, if it creases. I had an eye primer on. It was the only eye primer I currently own in here, the Urban Decay Primer Potion. So that usually does a pretty good job, so we'll see. But we're gonna try a liner that's new from Revlon. I actually got these quite a while ago. It's their So Fierce Vinyl Eyeliners, and I figured we would try one of these. I have black, brown, and blue. Maybe we'll try the blue because I'm not driving. Ooh, it's a really pretty blue. Really digging this, such a pretty, pretty blue. Yeah, it's definitely got like a kind of like vinyl leathery look on the skin. I don't want to say it almost looks wet because I was thinking it was just the gloss on my eyes, but it's the actual product itself. It's so interesting. I'm trying to rub it off and it definitely stays in place, so that's good to see. So I enjoyed that. It's so just kind of different. So we're gonna pair that with the Revlon So Fierce mascara. I've never tried this, and to be honest, I feel like I heard someone recently talking about it and I think that they liked it. But when I saw this, I thought it was a lip product. Doesn't it literally look exactly like a lip product? It's got a super flexible brush if you're into that. Rubber bristles, not my favorite on either count, but you never know. So far, it's definitely separating the lashes, blackening the base of my lashes pretty well. That was like way nicer than I would have guessed. I can't tell you a single Revlon mascara I've ever liked or even used recently. Can you think of any? Like what Revlon mascara? I can't even like name a Revlon mascara. So this is way nicer than I anticipated it being. No offense, Revlon. Yeah, you can really see the eye gloss creasing. It's probably just not even gonna be there by the end of the day, you know what I mean? So second coat on this side I'm putting on. It's definitely adding just a little bit more volume. This is just a really nice kind of all-around mascara. It does it all. It's helping hold the curl right now. Again, we'll see. But it's defining, it's blackening, it's volume. I mean, it's kind of doing everything. I mean, look at my freaking lashes, you guys. This is crazy. Okay, so I'd say 2 coats and you're good to go. So I'm gonna kind of dab off the So Juicy. I liked the e.l.f, not So Juicy, the e.l.f jelly glosses. I enjoyed that. So the lip product I'm dying to try are these Revlon Ultra HD Vinyl Lip Polishes. I wanna try the one in the shade Birthday Suit. These are like crazy, like, whoa, I can't explain it, like crazy pigmented, almost thick and goopy at least when you swatch them. So let's just see. They have a very pleasant smell. Oh gosh, something that, again, that's like a childhood smell. I can't explain that. Okay. This is truly, like if you have pigmented lips, this is the perfect Your Lips But Better color. Holy, I mean, look at that. It's like Literally my lip color just slightly amped up. So this applicator is weird because it's so goopy, it gets all over the back. It's weird. Feels nice. Oh, gets on your teeth, beware. It's just one of those kind of patent shine lip products. Pretty comfortable. I can tell, obviously I'm gonna need to reapply this throughout the day. This is not like a long wear, you know, it's not gonna dry down, but it's really pretty. And I like when it's got that much color to it. So let's at least try one of these bolder colors so you can see, and I'm curious too, how they wear, but then I might put Birthday Suit back on just because I actually wanna wear it, you know. They have some reds. Let's try this red that looks kind of, well, compared to this one, I have like two different reddish colors. This one looks more reddish orange. It's called She's on Fire. And then this one looks like a little more, yeah, more like a cherry red. It's called Cherry on Top. Let's try that one. Okay, so this one is not even close to as gloopy as the other one was. I wonder if that one was like in the sun or something. Wow. So right off the bat, wow, this is a beautiful red. Like this is like the perfect red shade where your teeth look super white and it's just so flattering. Like even from a distance, it's so pretty, but you know this is gonna be a mess. I don't know. I could see myself using this like if I already had a red lipstick on, like I lined my lips and I had that and I'm going out and I just wanna touch up. This would be really nice because it would add kind of some moisture, but you don't have to get like in a mirror because you could kind of just add it to the center, but you have to be just hyper aware that it's not on your teeth, you know, because it is sticky. It's sticky. There's no doubt about it. So if you know sticky is like, and like you are totally against it, you'll hate these, but a lot of color payoff, really pretty. Oh my gosh, this color is so gorgeous. I want to go up to Gigi, my daughter, and just like plant a huge one just right in the center of her forehead. So those were all, I guess I never ended up matching my face to my body, huh? Maybe I'll put bronzer on in a bit. We'll see. I'm just kind of like trudging around the house and doing stuff, so it doesn't really matter. So I'll probably change my lip color throughout the day because again, I don't think this is one that's gonna last all day long and I'm gonna be doing laundry and stuff. I just picture me getting this red lipstick all over like the whites load. But I will check in at the end of the day so you can get an idea of how this all wore. I'm really curious about the foundation. Y'all, we already know the eye gloss is gonna be crazy, but just curious how all of this looks at the end of the day. So I'm gonna go about my day and I'll see you guys at the end of the day. Okay, so it is not even that late, it's just before 10, but we're both tired. We're just gonna tuck ourselves in for the night. So, a couple caveats. I almost didn't do this wear test because I thought I have screwed my makeup so much because I had an emotional evening, just personal reasons, and so Tyler was comforting me, and so therefore, I mean, some tears have wiped some of this off. And we also went on a bike ride and I was like sweating. So it was a weird day to do a wear test, but whatever, I guess I really put it through the ringer, huh? So I feel like, okay, that highlight did not go anywhere, like the jelly highlight and the jelly like blush, whatever it's called, stayed pretty well considering I was literally like wiping my face. The brow product I think stayed in really nicely. I'm excited to use that more because that I think was kind of for me like one of the standout products, that and that highlighter. The lip product I ended up wiping off because once we were like going on a bike ride, I was like, I'm not gonna wear like bright red lips or anything. But again, that's just one of those products, it's sticky, it's gonna transfer a lot. You're gonna need to reapply it and be really careful with it. So that's something to keep in mind. I don't know that I love, especially the bright red, I don't know that I'd wanna wear that like when I'm out and about and I won't have time to like look in the mirror from time to time because I'd be really nervous about it. But I think the ones that are closer to my lip color, like the first one I tried, that one I would probably wear and feel a little bit more comfortable because it wouldn't be as obvious if it was messed up. The eye gloss was awful. I just literally just kept wiping it off because I could feel my lids just sticking. Mascara stayed pretty well, again, considering I cried and it wasn't like a mascara that was waterproof. There was a little bit of like fallout right underneath, but again, I have a feeling that was more to do with being emotional. The blue liner, again, it's totally gone here, probably for the same reason. So I know I ruined the wear test. I'll have to get back to you guys on a few of those things. But foundation-wise and primer-wise, I actually think the foundation stayed decently well on my nose compared to how it usually looks. So I feel like I have to attribute that to that Poreless Putty Primer, so that's pretty cool. I'm excited to play with that some more. I like that, again, you can kind of see my skin through that foundation, so I like that. I'm excited to try it some more, and I really enjoyed the texture of it too. Honestly, I feel like a lot of the products I liked, but definitely the standouts were the brow product, that like jelly highlighter, and honestly the mascara and then that lip product. Not too bad. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, I hope you'll subscribe and catch more of my videos. I've done a ton that I've recently been really proud of. I would love for you to check out. I have some of my favorite videos down in the description box linked, and I also have them linked up in the eye. So if you want to click up there right now, you can see a few videos I've done recently that I think you'll enjoy, and you can click and keep watching. I would love that. And other than that, I'll catch you guys in my next one. Bye.